There's a very popular ETF out there right now amongst traders and those with a little bit less risk aversion. The ticker symbol is MSTX. So M as in Mary, S as in Sam, T as in Theodore, X. And what it is, it's a 2 times levered version of MicroStrategy, the stock, which has a ticker symbol of MSTR. Now, the purpose of this video is to educate people a little bit about what sort of the dynamics are of MSTX, because when I did a member session the other day, I realized that most people are absolutely not aware of sort of the dynamics and maybe the risks involved with something like that. So let's take a step back and have a look at what actually MSTX is actually replicating. So MSTR, or MicroStrategy, the stock, is a technology company, a software services company that essentially has, by leadership of the CEO, Michael Saylor, I believe is his name, he essentially has turned it into a company that owns a lot of Bitcoin on the treasury, on the book of the balance sheet. They've taken up a lot of credit for that, or it's a levered bet on Bitcoin is the long and short of it. So that's why a lot of people like to trade, or especially younger generations like to trade. Some of them even invest in MSTR because they believe in Bitcoin and they believe they can get more money if MSTR, which is a levered play on Bitcoin, goes up. So that's the base case. Now, before we go fast forward to MSTX, the ETF, and understanding the risks, let's understand what MSTR is actually doing. So MSTR is a levered play on Bitcoin, as I said. So if we look at Bitcoin, and I'm going to type it in here, and you forget the top chart. The top chart is just a chart of Bitcoin. If you look at the bottom, this is something called the volatility, and this is really what we're getting to. The volatility of Bitcoin historically somewhere around 60. As I'm recording this, it's a bit lower, but historically it's around 60. What does that mean? That means that Bitcoin, from the average price at any given point, over the course of a year, essentially, has the ability to move up or down 60%. So, like, for example, at this point, there's about a 68% chance in any given year that with a 60% vol, which is, again, what average Bitcoin vol has been over the past few years, it could drop from current levels in around 90-ish thousand down to as much as 35,000. Or, of course, it could also go up to, as high as, if with the 60 vol around 150,000, right? So that's the dynamics. Now, MSTR, the stock, has an average volatility of about 100 usually. It's a little bit less right now, but it's about 100. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the stock, yes, optimistically can, doesn't have to, by all means, but it could go up as much as 100% over the course of a year. That would get it to about 700. But it could also go down 100%, which at the current level of around 353, if it were to drop 100%, you would basically see the stock, kind of go to zero, right? So that's kind of, just to give people the visual of that. The crazy thing about MSTX, and this is where it gets a little bit maybe too complex for a short video like this, is that the volatility of this thing is usually closer to 200. It can be way more than that. So what does that mean? That means, yes, this thing could go up 200%, right? So from current levels, that means it could go up to 100. But it can, you can actually be wiped out very realistically, because it can go, technically obviously can't go negative, but the point is the volatility is so severe that it actually can't go to zero. And to kind of illustrate this, MSTX, when it peaked most recently in November of last year, it did actually drop 92%. It lost 92% of its value. Now, many of you that are here right now are probably saying, well, I'm going to be quick, going to be in and be out. The problem is this thing can move so fast that anyone that's dabbling in this, let's just take, for example, when it started dropping in November. Over the course of literally 3 days, this thing lost 65% of its value. And so things usually go down more than they go up. So if you're drawn to this kind of an ETF, I'm not here to scold. I'm here to just educate people. I think most people are not aware of what they're actually doing here. And there's a lot of belief system because we live in this giant gambling bubble. So you need to be aware that when you're dabbling in something like this, it is much more gambling than actually trading. And that's a big difference in one's approach. Gambling, by the very basic definition of it over time, usually doesn't stand a good chance of making money, whereas trading, if one does it properly, really does. Hope it helps. See you in the next video.